Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Wakah, Kadash. That belongs to the Apostle Noah's Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, brothers, Christian truth throughout the four winds. Today, I want to bring a few scriptures out on being mindful of what you speak and what you say. Because it's true power in what you speak. You can say something that'll tie you to something that'll have you in a situation you shouldn't be in. So always be mindful of what you're saying. This is Proverbs 18 and 21. It says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that live, Salakia, they that love it, shall eat the fruit thereof." So regardless of what you say, it's a plus and a minus to what you say, because it's death and life. And death and life can go to many different routes. We understand that life is something good, and death is something supposed to be, bad. So you can make something positive happen by speaking, or you can make something negative by speaking. And you're basically, it says, "They that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." So whatever you say and you tie yourself to, that's what the outcome will be. So it's just good to try to get a train of thought to basically putting yourself in a mind frame of speaking good and positive and encouraging things, when you're dealing with yourself, and just everyday life. Always try to keep it positive. Proverbs 21 and 23. "Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles." So always just guard what you say. Be in a place of guarding how you speak and even how you think, because your thoughts become actions, because you'll speak life into it. Speak life into positive things instead. Okay. James 1 and 19. "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak, slow to wrath." So it's giving you these examples of when you speak and how you maneuver has an outcome, whether good or bad. That's why it says, "Let a man be swift to hear." Hear things first, because for every action there's a reaction. So if you're dialoguing with someone, or you're having a conversation with someone, and they say something and you receive it wrong, try to process it to where your reaction doesn't basically come off to where you react the wrong way. It's like more of being in self-control as well. So always learn to be mindful of what the mind processes, how your mind processes things, and then your reaction. Okay. Matthew 12 and 36. "But I say unto you, that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy word shall thou be justified, and by thy word shall thou be condemned." Just adding more to what I was previously saying. Everything you say is power in it. It's power in your tongue. There's power in the way you think, the way you move. Always try to be in a place of positive thinking. Sometimes, not saying that it's easy, but they say when we do something 21 times, it becomes a habit. You make a pattern of it. So try to practice these good habits when it comes to the way you think and the way you speak, and it'll become easier every time you do it. Okay. Proverbs 15 and 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So the words we speak, if we're not cautious to how we speak and things we say, it can be a bad outcome. Let's say you're on your job and the boss speaks something to you in a frame that you don't like, and he addressed you in a way that you don't like. You can't go off the deep end, because now that's your livelihood. Instead of saying, you know what, let me be mindful of how I reply. Sometimes you have to take that road of humility. Be humble. It don't have to be you constantly being right all the time. Okay? This is Ephesians 4:29. Let not corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good, to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Okay, so basically what you want to do is always keep yourself in a place of speaking positive, learning, growing, and just being thoughtful of the way you speak, the way you think, the way you maneuver. Not saying that you're going to be perfect or by any means perfection is going to take hold, but you can actually just be better about these things. James 3:5, it says, even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. So that's one of the small members of the body. Okay, but it has so much power in it, because it's power in what you say. A lot of people say when you let go of a word, it's like shooting an arrow or a bullet leaving a gun. You can't get it back. So the harm that it does is basically, it's too late. You can't bring back or rewind something you say. Okay? It says, and the tongue is a fire. Okay? A world of iniquity. A world of iniquity. So your tongue and what you speak can have very critical, harmful meaning behind the things you say. Even if you're trying to just say things in a certain manner, the way you word things could be very damning. Okay? So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body. We know that goes into something else. It says, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on a fire of hell. On fire of hell. So the moral of everything is basically always be mindful of what you say, and by doing that, it's being mindful and having control of how you think. Think certain ways. Try to keep your thoughts positive, and just be in a place of, no matter what comes your way, always put forth the mind frame of, I'm going to control how I think and what I say when the thoughts are processed. With that, I want to say shalom.